Alright, I'm gonna try and flow state this really quickly. This is my take on Jeffrey Epstein. Not on what he did and anything, not to try and break news, but on how people are reacting and how it relates to everything. And so there are different groups of people who are looking at this Epstein thing. They're the people that are super in the know. They want to kind of alert the public about everything. They just want to be the front runners of this. The people that, learn little tidbits. They scroll to the next video, like they're shocked, they're disgusted, they're horrified, whatever. They're the people that look at it a little bit, maybe hear it through the grapevine, don't really try and associate it with it too much because they don't want to recognize that this is real. And so there are people that respond with, like, we have no control over this, like, why worry about it? And there are people that respond with just anger and whatnot. And so what I'm getting at here is what we need to understand is the implications of this. This should prove to everyone that the world is run by multinational corporations and criminals. It's not, governments facilitate this, like these people, or these people facilitate government, either vice versa. And the reason that we don't have, universal healthcare in America is not because, we will never have universal healthcare in America due to the financial system. It's because the system perpetuates itself because the system is run by multinational corporations and criminals. The reason that we won't, yada, yada, yada. You go down the line. The reason that you go to work on Monday, the reason that anything. But, my point is, this is the shock to the system that we needed to see, to show the weakness of the system. And we need to change it. Like, this anger that you feel should not be directed toward Jeff Epstein, or, I mean, it should, but, you know what I'm saying? Like, we have the tech to push boundaries in health and science and productivity and machinery and whatever you could think of as a human being. And yet, the only studies that start are the ones that are funded by big money because you need money to do anything. And so I guess what I'm getting at is, this isn't just like, oh wow, like Jeff Epstein was a really bad person. This is like, the system at large is really bad. And it's not like, oh, the system at large is very bad, like, let's just give up. It's like, it's plain and obvious for everyone to see. Like, let's just work on this. Like, what are we working on? Why do we work at Pepsi to make a fucking terrible soft drink to harm thousands of people? Like, let's just work on this and stop feeding into a system that destroys the masses. I know I haven't given a clear, concise instruction manual on how we should go about doing this because I don't know, but I do know that, if people kind of viewed this from the eyes of the system at large is run by multinational corporations and criminals that are acting their own selfish interest in hope of profit a lot of the time, but sometimes like even more grandiose, obscure shit like that is tied to Baal or Moloch or Satan or whatever you want to say. So I struggle to care about, academia or what I'm going to do this summer when it just perpetuates a darker thing. Like, wow, you got a job at Microsoft. Like, you're working for like Bill Gates, who's a horrible person. Like, what? Like, it requires a level of thinking outside of yourself. That I'm like everyone's working on. I would agree, but it should become the focus of society if we want to progress toward higher complexity and connectivity toward, universal love and care toward all. We have so much ability, and yet are in this great limbo of survival when we have so much abundance. So that's that, and I hope they treat you well. I'm gonna eat this plate. Looks gas, and yeah, still on the road to dunking. Don't worry, I still have my small goals, but this is my grandiose vision of whatever I just even talked about. Just look outside yourself, stay curious, be love, peace.